just said that there's some little small things that I want to just announce before we start today. No big deal, just very small channel related things really. So the first one is, you might have noticed when you came in stream today that when you clicked on the chat box, I don't know if it has, but maybe rules have popped up for you again. Maybe not, maybe they have, because every time you update the rules on your channel, I think they might come up again, but maybe they didn't. They didn't for me, but maybe that's because I'm the streamer. No, maybe they haven't then. I always thought that when you update the rules, they'd come up again, but maybe I misunderstood. So even more reason to talk about it then if they haven't popped up. And how you doing, guys? It's good to see you. Yeah, so exactly, even more reason to discuss it. It's just a new rule to the channel, and it's in the panels as well. I've updated the panels too. It's related to, well, it's something I've promised. If you look at my website, let's just switch screen just temporarily. There's something right here on the second line where I say that our streams are about escaping daily life. I see it as a place to geek out and not have to deal with real world and live problems. So here we go. It's that there that I've highlighted. So there's a little bit there. We do have a channel on Discord to discuss life related things if people are ever getting stressed out. I don't want to think people are stressed and all alone. So that is indeed why we have a channel. But yeah, the stream itself is not going to be the place to talk about what's happening in the world right now, just because I want to keep everything nerdy and fun here, and I don't think it's the most productive thing either if we end up talking about things that are happening. So for that reason, I'm just gonna, anytime it gets brought up in chat, it'll either get ignored by me or timed out, just so we don't, the conversation doesn't end up going and getting stressful. I don't want anyone here to feel stressed, and I don't want to feel stressed either, so we'll keep the streams fun and geeky, and I'm sure everybody knows what I'm talking about because it's what's happening in the world. It doesn't need to be spelled out right now. Okay, stayed up late, feeling tired today. How are you doing? Doing good. It feels like the weekend has just flown by and I'm streaming again. It's a new week already. I think that is an excellent idea, honestly. Well, thank you, Dark. I've been thinking about it, especially this weekend, because it's been all over social media. Everywhere I look, people are talking about it, which is very normal. I mean, of course people are going to talk about it, but there's a time and a place, and I've always said our streams are about escaping daily life. It even says that right there on the website. It says it in all my descriptions and stuff, so I want to stick to that promise and make people know that this is the place for that, for not having to deal with real life. We get to escape into a fantasy world in our streams without the game that we're making together. So that is what we're going to do. Everything is always going to be about not nerdy and fun discussion, so we can be creative together. And plus, if you want to talk about it, then most streamers again, was well on YouTube. Just for some info for you as well. Oh right, that's it's not. Sometimes there's misinformation that gets spread as well, and that can be a problem. So I was thinking, listen to the experts and not what people on Twitter or social media are saying. So there's always that risk too if you encourage the discussion on your stream. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to time you out, buddy, because we don't allow vulgar conversation on our stream, and that rule should have been there for you. So there we go. It's that is right there too, so please pay attention to the rules, especially if you know it will pop up for you. If you just cross it off and don't read, that's not respecting the channel. And it's right there saying what we have here, and if you don't stick to those rules, you will be timed out or banned if it's even more serious. I banned someone on Thursday's stream because they came in and started criticising some of the artwork that in the assets that we use for our game, so they got banned as well. So I'm not going to struggle banning people. I want to keep this place fun and awesome. I like awesome people here, and that's what we're going to have. That's the only one, yeah, it is. And like I've said before, I've been pretty lucky as a streamer in my time on Twitch. We don't usually get trolls or anything that goes against the rules. It feels like it's a once in a while thing, something that happens now and again, definitely not a daily basis. But lately, it does feel like it's a daily basis, actually. I wonder why. That is. Okay, so what else was I going to say? There was something else for today. Right, so to also complement the rule thing about geeking out and keeping this a nice, relaxing, chill space, I've started a new thing. In the title, we've got question of the week, and the current question of the week is, what's your favourite area zone in any game? So nobody has to take part. If you can't think of an answer to question, nobody's forced to answer, but it's just to kind of spark conversation. Like if anybody's new to stream and doesn't know what to say, maybe they can answer the question of the week. Or I always think it's fun, like, to talk about stuff like that and get this discussion on topic with video games, so we can get inspired. And I think I wanted to keep a question that was relevant to what we're working on in the game at the moment, which is parallax mapping. We're making a farm map at the moment for a flashback scene. So having a question that's about an area or zone, I'm quite intrigued to find out what areas and zones people enjoy in any game. Can be any game at all. If there's a particular favourite place in a game, because I wanna Google these things. I'd love to like take things into account and think, oh yeah, so what's that? And I can find out new things, find out new games. We can all find out new things and new games, not just me, from these kind of questions. So I'm probably gonna do a different one each week. We'll have it's question of the week rather than question of the day, because it'll be a bit much to keep thinking of different questions every single stream. And if anybody in the community has suggestions, then I'll make a list and then we won't run out ever. Oh, that's a good one, yay. Kokiri Forest, what game's that from, Guzmop? But yeah, I can't wait to find out what favourite areas and zones you guys like, because it, I might think, oh yeah, and it'll just inspire me for some Raindrop Chronicles areas. So I'm going to open a notepad file, so if anybody says any places, I'm going to get them all listed actually and research them later. Hi Fictional, how you doing? I hope you've been well yourself. It's been a while and I missed you. Welcome back, Fictional. How have you been? Hope things are good. Legend of Zelda. Oh right, so so yeah, if you want to have a whole game, if you like the zone of a whole game, then totally mention that as well. But if there's a particular place in a game, then feel free to mention that. I actually don't even have an answer to the question myself, because there's so many games out there with good areas and maps and zones that it can be a tricky one. Oh right, it's from there, I get it now. Okay, but yes, so as I said, we might have some people coming stream today that might mention things that go against the new rule, and if somebody does, like, but I'll just mention it briefly that we're to look at the panels and that we have a new rule and stuff. And it's not going to necessarily, therefore, I'm not going to ban them or anything for talking about it, because it's not like it's a super bad thing to do or disrespectful of the channel. It's just something I don't really want to encourage. So I'll just like politely say, yeah, we're not going to be talking about what's happening in the world here, and we want to keep this a geeky and fun space. Yeah, so Ficron's just said, for example, and this is what I want to avoid. It's not Fiction's fault, because Fiction's only just come in, but we not talk about it. So I'll either just ignore it, or depending on how much it is, I might time it out. But the shelter's definitely the place for it. So check the panels, the rules. I want people to be aware of the channel we have in our Discord called The Shelter, because it doesn't get used that often. It used to, but less over time. So I never want people to feel like we don't care about them or what's happening, going on in their lives, because I'm not one for, I don't agree with bottling up emotions or anything like that. So that's why we have the channel in the Discord, for situations like that, and we can keep it off stream then and out of chatting, and then we're all happy. So no worry, like I says, if anybody does mention it, I'm not gonna like ban them or think how dare you, because it's very normal to want to discuss it. It's human, but just for the sake of the channel and keeping things productive and chill, and, you know, to avoid stressing anyone out, we're gonna keep this a place where we escape daily life, just like it says on the website. It's like the second sentence on the website, so it's my job to like promise that to you guys, because it's important. I don't ever want to be somebody that says that I'm this and my channel's that, and I don't stick to those promises. So that's it. That's all really. And I'll do my best. Yeah, and sure. Like, I encourage you guys to use that shelter channel, because we got some awesome, lovely, kind people in our Discord that might listen to you, and even if you just want to vent, the shelter's there for that. That's for sure. Here I am, joke. Hi Zephyrus, how you doing? So yes, we have got a new rule, and yeah, unfortunately it doesn't come up when you press the chat box, so there's going to be a lot of people here that might not be aware of this rule yet, so I might have to keep repeating myself for a while until everybody knows. It would have been nice if the rules did pop up again, but unfortunately that's not meant to be. And we got the question of the week thing, so anybody at all, feel free to answer the question of the week. We could have some interesting conversations from these question of the weeks, and it keeps our stream nerdy. It keeps our streams, our channel, the game we make, it's very focused on being inspired by other games, lore, world building, etc. We're very focused on that here. It's not a code or programming stream, it's a stream of nerding out and chatting about writing and story ideas and characterization and all the fun stuffs. And other than that, yeah, we got a new YouTube video as well, folks. So if you didn't check out the important news channel, you won't know about this video yet, but it's there. It was released over the weekend, and it is a lore video on the first and most important thing in Raindrop Chronicles. Raindrops. Why raindrops? And it talks about the barrels as well and why they're alive. Well, not just the barrels, containers, objects in general that shouldn't be alive but are in the game. So there's a reason for that. It was about December, January. A lot of us in the community spent a few streams discussing this, and we have some lore that we've kind of cemented in place now, and we've had some ideas as well, some ideas suggested from this that are still, haven't been decided whether it's going to happen or not. When the time's right, we'll probably make polls and discuss these things even more, but I'm probably going to release these lore videos whenever it's there's a good time or good thing we've made in the game or written that we feel that is a good idea to do a video on, so people know more about it for sure, because it can help, people will understand the game and maybe inspire some ideas for them as well. So it is a new series on our YouTube channel, so let's just get the YouTube up. We've got 3 so far. We have sneak peeks, and that will be where we show off little sneak previews of the game, whether it's cutscenes, battles, wandering around cities or dungeons, little dialogue lines. That will be what the sneak peek section's about. And we've only got one video in there so far, which is the custom hero creator. You'll get to see how that works exactly and what you can change with your hero. And then we've also got the story so far, which is going to be consistently updated with every time we have a new main quest in the game. The first one is all about the first main quest and what happens in the first main quest. And there'll probably be a second story so far video released next month when we've finished the second main quest of the game. And it'll, over time, we'll have loads of these. And then the third one is the one released over the weekend, the first video in the lore discussion. And I used a load of stock images and videos from free stock image and video websites to make this, to put it all together. And I rate the lore. So it was really fun to make actually, but pretty time consuming. But it was a fun one. So be sure to check that out if you're interested about lore, if that tickles your fancy at all. People talk too much, so anyway, nice. Yeah, I'm glad you guys like the rule. I'm super glad. And like I said again, if anybody here does discuss it, I'm not going to be mad at them because I know it wouldn't be on purpose. And it's not like it's the worst thing to do in somebody's channel. I'd ban someone for being super lewd and disrespectful or hateful. They'd get banned for that. Or they'd be banned for, just not being a horrible person. But they wouldn't be banned for talking about the virus or anything like that. I'd just tell them that this is not the place for that. How are you today? I'm doing good, Dark. How are you doing? But yeah, I've got to watch what I say as well, because when I ask chat how they're doing, I'm kind of encouraging that discussion maybe, because it's only natural for someone to respond saying, oh, I'm doing bad because of everything that's happening. So as a streamer, it's a challenge to think, how shall I not sway the discussion that way? I guess we got to just keep on topic of the game and stuff. But I don't want you guys to think I don't care about you or what you've been doing with your week or anything like that at all. I'm doing good, just working. Yeah, it's good to work. It's fun to be productive. Just waking up, yay. Well, get some coffee down. I had some latte earlier. I'm glad you had fun, Rose. You've been putting a heckin' huge amount of effort into this. Thank you, Zexy. I'm obsessed with it. That's why, I live and breathe doing this. I just have so much fun doing this. I'd rather do this than anything else. I'm at this stage where I enjoy making this than actually playing video games. So I'm finding I'm neglecting playing games for doing this. And yeah, so it's just so much fun. Maybe don't ask but say something like, I hope you're doing well. Yeah, maybe I should do that, so because then I'm not actually asking a question. That's a good idea, Lotte. So many hours, so much energy. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, Akira, how you doing? It's so good to see you. How have you been? I was up till 2 working on my game. Yeah, I'm like that. The hours just go. I get really productive at night time as well. So I find I'm awake for way longer than I should be. And it's because I've not realised where the time's gone more than anything. Because it can just fly by when you're working on things like this. It's a bit hard for me to decide on my favourite area zone. There are a few that I absolutely love. I know. And guys, obviously, this question is a pretty hard one. I don't even have an answer to it myself. So, of course, you might not have an answer. That's fine. If someone does, feel free to say what your favourite area or zone is, though. I want to encourage. This is like a purpose thing I've done to encourage geeky discussion. I want this to be a nerdy place for those of us that love games with, RPG games specifically, but it can be any genre. when I ask these questions. It doesn't have to just be RPGs, but yes. So better to be obsessed making a game rather than just playing games, I think. Sleeping Jackal's a sensible one. So yeah, I enjoy playing video games. I think as somebody who makes games, you have to play games, because if you didn't, how can you be inspired by something? Like, you know, games are inspiration for people that want to make them, and you know, it's important to play them. But I find that if I'm just playing games, I feel guilty, I feel unproductive, and I end up just feeling guilty, thinking I should be doing something more. So that's how I feel personally. So I felt really good lately because I'm doing this and I feel super productive, and like I'm putting something of value into the world and something that people will get something from, and it's a good feeling. What's on your agenda today? We're going to carry on with parallax mapping this week, guys, because I've made the law discussion video. I'm not going to lie, that took a big chunk out of my days off. So a lot of the time, unfortunately, didn't go into finishing the map like I wanted to. So we're going to spend the rest of the week finishing the map off of the farm, the flashback that we were doing last week, and also the wagon as well in the inside. So that's why we've got a question of the week that's related to zones and maps, because it'll be cool to keep these questions of the week relevant to what we're actually working on. If we end up working on doing character stuff, then I'll probably have a question of the week that's related to characters in games. The neighbourhood in Mega Man 6 IB's Gregor is a good one. I just love the music and the whole place feels so homely. Awesome. This is super interesting too, because people are like letting me know some of these answers to these questions are games I have not heard of or know very little of, and finding out about new things can be really super inspiring. And most of all, I want to get inspired to learn about games, and it'll help, you know, some ideas for Raindrop Chronicles as well. So thanks for letting me know, guys. I've got a big notepad file open, so whenever someone mentions something, I'm going to note it in there, because it'll be super cool to look into these if I have not heard of them. I have no idea why I'm going to work on an RPG. I'm currently working on a Viking game, and then I'm working on either a horror game for kids or a fan platformer. Awesome. Would you like to work on an RPG, Zephyrus? If you do, you totally should. But yeah, it's time, isn't it? Especially if you're working on other games. That's for sure. Oh yeah, you meant when instead of why. Yeah. RPGs are just so fun. I find that you're able to like get really creative with RPGs, because you can just build a fantasy world, so there's no limit to creativity. I mean, who would have thought we'd have barrels, living barrels? I didn't even know that in the beginning, but we've got them. So I'm going to give you guys a link to our video. I'm going to copy the link address for those of you that haven't watched our lore video yet. It's only 3 minutes long, and I'm going to purposely try and keep them short and sweet, because nobody wants to sit there for ages. Oh gosh, I've accidentally. Nobody wants to sit there for ages watching something. So, you know, you can only take in so much info in one go. Especially for people who want to get involved in helping write the game. It's like people like Zexion, for example, really get involved in helping me put the story together. So if you've got an interest in that, then it's definitely something you should watch, because it'll help, you know, us potentially stay on track and have some really cool ideas for where that lore could be taken. Tail Fox came up with a cool idea a couple of months back about something to do with this lore, which I haven't talked about yet. I'm keeping it a bit under the radar, but it was an interesting idea, I thought. So when the time's right, I might bring it up. Short and sweet is great for sure, especially because I upload my VODs on YouTube. I upload every single VOD of every stream, and they're like up to 3 hours long, these VODs are, and I don't know whether people actually watch them. I like them there because for those of you that miss the streams, if you want to watch them, but sometimes people can get a bit intimidated by super long videos. I personally just really like having every single stream there because it's nice to look back on how far you've come and see the development process. But really, these videos here, the short ones, I think are going to be the most valuable ones and the ones that people will probably be most interested in. They are the ones that are seeming to get more views. Then they get more views than the VODs, so that's cool. I'm glad to see that. And they'll probably, another story so far, one probably in April sometime. It depends. It's hard to say right now because sometimes things take a bit longer than you intend, but I'm thinking within the next month or so we will get the next story so far video. You would, but you have too much other stuff going on. Yeah, I'm the same. I understand. I'm somebody that has a lot of ideas for games as well, and I think, oh, that's a cool concept, and I'm the only person who knows because I keep these things to myself. And I think one day, like, it'll be another project in the future, but I like to just focus on one thing at a time rather than spread myself too many projects at once, because I find that I'm not putting enough into the project otherwise. I do want to sit there for 20 or 30 minutes, but I also understand that videos that take that long take a lot of time and energy to me. Oh, would you sit there and watch then? Zexy, if I made a lore video that was 20 minutes long, would you sit there and watch it? Because that's so awesome if you would. I mean, I don't expect the average viewer to do that, but for those that really invested in the game, I can get why that sort of thing would be intriguing. But at the same time, it's true, they take a long time. Like, it took me, I started this on Friday. I recorded it all Friday and I added all the stock images and videos on Saturday, so that was 2 days of my 3 days off that I spent making that lore video, and I announced it Sunday, early on Sunday. But it's totally worth it. Like, maybe I didn't do much in the game in RPG Maker this weekend because of that, but I feel it's a useful video that's going to benefit the community and the game in the long run, because they're finding out more about how the game works. I've had so many people come into the stream asking, so are these barrels a race, or are they, they want to know why the barrels are sentient. And if anybody asks that question in the future, I can just be like, well, we've got a lore video actually, feel free to watch it, and then they'll find out exactly what it's all about. And there's I'm hoping to eventually have loads of these lore videos. It'll be super fun. I had a lot of fun making it, that's for sure. I'm fine with really long videos. I'm no stranger to hour-long podcasts. Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, I always think people in this world are impatient, especially with all the content that exists. There's so much in this world. YouTube, all the content out there. The fact that somebody would spend even 5 minutes of their time watching your video when there's so many others out there is very flattering. So, that's for sure. But it's nice to know you guys wouldn't mind long videos, just in case we had to ever make a longer video in the future. Can I share a link to my current game in the Discord? Sure, Guzmop. I actually encourage you guys to share your stuff in the Creative Work channel. I made that especially for people who have anything at all, whether it's cosplay, like what Ghost is put here, or music, or games, or artwork, or literally anything that's creative, guys. So if you do have anything, then that's the perfect channel for that. So welcome, Guz. Oh, thank you for joining. It's good to have you with us. Let's say hi. Okay, guys. Honestly, the fact that you enjoyed making it is more than enough justification for having it be made. And you're right, it's a great way to get the new folk up to date. It was a really good idea, as thank you, Sexy. So make sure you watch it. Give it a thumbs up as well on the likes. I think that goes a long way. I think that might help visibility. if people liked it. I can't be 100% sure because I don't know the algorithm, but you never know. I think it's better than no thumbs up at all. Thank you for the follows, Three-Headed Monkey and Dennis. I appreciate you giving us a follow and joining us in this stream. So feel free to say hi or answer the question of the week or lurk or look at our website. Do whatever you'd like to do. The Picora Village, Hurul Town and the Minish Forest, that's some of my favourite places of mine in Zelda Minish Cap. Oh, thank you for the answer to question, Fictional. And I apologise, guys, if I can't pronounce these places. I'm always... pronunciation is my weakness, one of my weaknesses. Okay, so... But yeah, I agree with Zexion that as long as I enjoyed it, that makes it worth it. Honestly, I actually really enjoy video editing. I'm far from an expert at it, but it can actually be really fun seeing put something together and that you've made. And I don't think I did a bad job. It's a challenge, like, to think how to make a video packed with so much information, entertaining. Especially when you're rambling on about story and lore things, it can get quite boring if you don't do it right, and people could easily lose focus. So I thought it'd be really cool to get in some videos and images in to like help people visualize it all, rather than just me have it be a podcast kind of thing. How familiar are you with the Zelda series, Rose? Not familiar at all. I'm ashamed to say I didn't grow up on Zelda because I was a PlayStation girl and a PC girl, I guess. My dad was one of the earlier ones who had a PC, so he had a Windows 95 computer. And I had the PlayStation 1 when it first came out as well, but I never grew up on Nintendo. That was one console we didn't have until the Wii came out. So there's a lot of all Nintendo games I missed out on basically, and I've only just really discovered in recent years. And I did have a little play with Zelda Twilight Princess, but that's the only one I've played. So yes, it's unfortunate. My series is Final Fantasy. That is the series I grew up playing. So I think we've all got a series that we grew up with that's special in our hearts, and mine is Final Fantasy. But there's people out there that never played a single Final Fantasy game because they were in the situation I was in with missing Zelda, for example. Do you fancy a lot of point and click adventure games yourself? Yes, those were games I grew up on. Had my PC for those games, Monkey Island, Broken Sword, that was PlayStation though, and all those kind of games I absolutely loved. They were actually the games I played a lot of before I discovered Final Fantasy. So they were like my first step into gaming actually. The Zelda series has some great tidbits, Rose. A definite recommendation if you're looking for inspiration. Great. This is why I'm actually really happy with our new question of the week, because I wouldn't have ever known about these places that you mentioned, Vikram. So doing a Google, I might find, get inspired by some super interesting things. I was a PlayStation girl, will way to pronounce correct, but okay. Awesome. I played a lot of Windows 95 games too, but also a lot of Genesis and Nintendo 64. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, our family wasn't poor or anything. I think we did quite well with just having the PlayStation and PC. Sometimes having every console can get a bit much, so we didn't have every single console under the sun, but I'm happy that I grew up on Final Fantasy. That makes me happy enough, even if I did miss out on some classics. Never played a Final Fantasy game, so exactly some. So I find that those of you that like Nintendo, a lot of those missed out on Final Fantasy. Not all, but some, I've noticed. So it seems like you grew up either a PlayStation or Nintendo kid with a lot of the time. Did you ever play Tales of Fate for the PS1? I didn't. I feel like Final Fantasy 7 and 8 and 9 were really the only RPGs I played on the PlayStation 1. I didn't grow up on Kingdom Hearts either. And Chrono Trigger was a game I didn't actually play until it was ported onto the DS. So yeah, I did miss out. And it's unfortunate because there's some real hidden gems out there. Like Lost Odyssey is my favourite. That was only on the Xbox 360 though. And it's sad because it's such a... I mean, it's not perfect. A lot of people criticised it for being too traditional of an RPG and wasn't modernised enough, but it just had it had heart, it had emotion, and that's what I liked about it. Threads of Fate. Oh, so is that one you like, Sexy? Have you got a favourite zone or area in that game, or did you just like it in general? I own the first Final Fantasy on SNES, but never really played any other. Yeah, and that's super old school, isn't it? The first Final Fantasy. Really dropped the ball with the Nintendo 64. There are only a few good games on it that were worth playing. Most of the games made by Nintendo were great, and also Rare's games, but games moved to the PS1. GameCube is more the same as Nintendo 64. It had a small library of games worth playing already. Worth trying, yeah. I heard Nintendo 64 was good, and a lot of people like GameCube too. I guess it depends. I know very little about them. And the Wii was the only Nintendo we had, but that wasn't really the console for me. It was more for my family because I liked the Wii Fit and all that kind of thing, and all the moving. And I'm not a moving person. I'm a couch potato. Just give me a controller, please. I want to be moving, playing games. I'm a computer person. Never got the console thing. Yeah, and that's just, I'm kind of both. I started on PC, like that was before we had the PlayStation, but then I ended up not on PC for years and ended up being a console person instead, especially when the Xbox 360 was around. And then I ended up going back to PC. I ended up getting Steam about 10, 12 years ago, just after the Xbox 360 started getting a bit... But yeah, I can't remember how long exactly, but I got really into Steam at one point as well. And that's when I got my gaming PC. This old lady here. Oh, actually, it wasn't about 10 years ago. It was more about 8 to 6 years ago. And I got my PC about 5 years ago when I started really wanting to play good games. And it wasn't built for streaming, though. I started streaming just over 2 years ago now. And I just, yeah, this PC is turning into a lady, but it still does the job. Final Fantasy V and the Game Boy, my goodness. The Final Fantasy, because I didn't play the super early Final Fantasies. I played 3 on the DS, but then I lost my save game and I got mad, so I didn't finish it. But 7 onwards were like mine. They were mine. Especially 7, 8, 9 and 10 were like my babies. The middle ones were the ones I like. But I'm very fond of Final Fantasy 14 as well. I'm not like the best player at it though, because I'm no multiplayer person at all. But I just really like it, the game. The Wii did amazingly good, but it was the same as the GameCube and Nintendo 64. Nintendo burned out too many bridges with third-party developers long ago. Yeah, for sure. But they do well, don't they, Nintendo? They've got a lot of fans. It's called Threads of Fate, not Tales of Fate. Just spell it wrong. Go right. Well, I'm going to make a note of that game too, Zex, even though there isn't a particular world or area or zone. I'm still going to look into that game because I'm intrigued. Steam after 360. Does mop at me with the same. There's a point and click game that's a bit obscure, but it really struck my fancy because of its futuristic theme. It's called Primordia. When you play as a robot, that's a devout believer of the existence. Man, I've heard of that. I've 100% heard of that. I'm not sure if I've definitely not played it myself, but I might have watched a friend play it or very briefly because it's very familiar to me. So I'm gonna look at that too. Anything with robots is usually super awesome, and it sounds philosophical. I can't say that word, so that's pretty interesting. Stalker Shadow. Oh, right. That's interesting. Look into that one too. I need to watch that HBO series as well. It's been recommended to me. But it's apparently super depressing. But good. Really scary underground book that you reluctantly have to go through. It sounds like it would be definitely a scary, well, not a scary game, but sort of. I never play horror much. I'm too much of a scared person. But sometimes some of those games are really good. You can't find too many people who look back fondly at the Wii. Most of the people who brought it into the hype say it's a nice doorstop. I actually didn't buy into the hype, but I believe it to be a good system. Maybe I just go against the popular ideas and I'm stubborn. Yeah, I think it was good for people that that weren't the typical gamer. Like my family, especially my mum, don't play video games. But the Wii she got into. So it's good for people like that, but for people who, were used to the normal consoles, it wasn't really something that was for them, I find. Casual folks, yeah. Anyway, folks, so is there anything else I need to talk about? Because I knew that there was going to be a lot of talk at the start of the stream today, so I'm not going to get straight into RPG stuff until I know I've covered everything I need to. But I've mentioned the new rule, I've mentioned the question of the week, I've mentioned the new YouTube video, and other than that we'll just continue from where we left off flat on Thursday stream, and there's a potential poll we might put up, but maybe it should be put up tomorrow. We'll see how it goes, and if we get time. We'll see, but Zexian's helped out with that poll. We could discuss it, and if it's not too late, we might put it up. But it's probably going to be a poll we'll have up for a while anyway, at least a week. So usually I don't put up polls too late in the stream if they're only going to be ones that are open for a day, because I like as many people to vote as possible. It's never really a horror game, the Stalker series, but the immersion was so good that everything felt real. The firefights, the dangers and mystery of the zone, all the threats felt very real. Oh, cool. Well, I've put that one down as well, Fictional. You've got a ton of game inspirations. I appreciate that. As bad as me getting off the subject with a good conversation, yeah, I can get really, really into conversation, and before I know it, 2 hours have gone by. But that's what we do here. This is what the stream is. It's about geeking out, it's about talking, and it's about, that's kind of what I'm trying to turn the direction of the stream into, a place where we just geek out together. So I've said before, it doesn't have to be productive. I don't have to spend the whole stream working in RPG Maker. Usually I see my off-stream times for getting super productive and focused. There's no harm at all at doing it and, chilling like that. And that's what I do, especially when chat tends to slow down. But at the same time, I'm definitely not going to discourage chatting and just taking a little short talking time over working in RPG Maker. Because this is the time the streams for the community rambles, I see it as. I used to work a lot with Zelda and Minge Capitals and Sprites. Ooh. Never played it much, but it's a good one. Fictional had a lot of places, so that was mentioned in that game. Awesome. The goal is to make the areas in Raindrop Chronicles be some places people love. That's what my goal is. So we've got Everbloom Forest and we've got a farm coming up. But we probably won't expand on the farm until we've done Everbloom Forest and that part of the game's done. Okay, so I want to make some bot commands. That was something else I wanted to do before we start. So we have a sneak peek bot command. So here's the custom hero creator, but I'm going to change the name of that to Peaks just to shorten it. We've got story for story 7. We're going to make a new one called exclamation mark lore for people, that so we can get the lore video come up in chat. You like the graphics of them too? Forever stays one of my most favourite game. It really was quite the game for me. Why do you think it was so special to you? Is it just nostalgia, or did it have really something about it in particular that was really appealing? Was it the world, the atmosphere, the story? Okay, so... thinking how to word this command. Exclamation mark lore. Okay, how did I word this on the Discord announcement? The bat. It's adorable. We also have a bat emote now that looks more like this guy. Our little guy here. One of the earliest video games you've ever played? It was right after the first video game that I played, which was Zelda: Link to the Past. That and the timeless graphics, great music, writing, and magical story. Really fell in love with it. Yeah, it's awesome how some games just grip us, isn't it? I can't even give reason for why some do and some don't. It's interesting. Okay. Right, how did I say it? So it's also on the Twitter, so we got my Twitter up here. I was in the middle of writing a tweet actually. So I was thinking of putting that up before we started too, because it's relevant to, we've got a bit of stuff we're doing today before beginning. But I think we'll at least discuss the poll when we start, because it's relevant to the lore video we've just released as well, the poll that I'd like to put up. One sec, folks. I'll just say check out the latest lore discussion video on YouTube or something like that. Okay, so command has been made. Hiya. Let me know how to pronounce your name. I've always struggled pronouncing that name and I don't want to say it wrong, but welcome to your stream. What tech is being used here? RPG Maker. It is. I have actually, it's quite funny because I used to have it in my title. RPG Maker MV program, but I've removed it now because we have question of the week instead and there wasn't enough space, so I had to sacrifice that part. I had to get rid of the RPG Maker MV thing because I felt that out of everything was the least important bit. But we do have a program command, so if for anyone that is curious, there's that, and I'll do that command every time someone asks. And are we supposed to see something? I'm just messing with my bot at the moment. I'm adding some more commands to the stream and I don't usually show my bot. So that's why you guys can't see anything. Certain things aren't in the window capture for privacy reasons. Check out our latest sneak peek of our custom hero creator. Okay. I don't have those commands. I don't have those commands. Right. I don't have the specs and nothing to show off about. Not for sure. So I definitely don't have a command of that. My computer's an old lady. Okay. So okay. I'm just doing some commands, guys. So just wait a bit. I'm just trying to get these all good. I don't want them to be too long, you see, either. Thank you for the follow. Sometimes I have to do the boring things like this on stream, because especially if I've had a super busy weekend. And because I made the video this weekend, there wasn't really any time to do this stuff then. Check out the custom hero creator listening video. Working. Work doesn't have to be boring now. Okay, I think that'll do. So we have, let's just do commands got lore. Check out the latest Raindrop Chronicles lore discussion video on YouTube. So that'll take you to that. and we've also got peaks. Check out our latest sneak peek video of the custom Hero Crown YouTube. And I might change these commands a little bit because I'm not 100%, but they're there for now. They'll do for now. Okay, so that is that. Let's get that minimized. Link to the Past is a great game, but much better graphics. Can't comment too much about MC because I didn't go very far in the game. Yeah. I've heard Link to the Past was a really good one though. Work can be a lot of fun, depends who you are working with, yeah. For sure. And what the work is as well. Okie doke. Cool. Thank you for the sub, by the way. Appreciate that. Okay. So let's get RPG Maker up then, folks. I might still put the tweet up. But let's at least get RPG Maker up and running now. So you're not just staring at a YouTube screen. You can stare at a pretty farm instead. So I haven't done any extra. I've done a little bit of research into some extra things that we can add today to our farm, but not very much. So we're going to carry on where we left off on Thursday's stream. And it's probably very likely we're going to spend the rest of the week working on this map. I'd say maybe today and tomorrow for the rest of the tiles, and then later on in the stream for doing a parallax of it, a parallax map. But all going well, because I'll probably spend the weekend and days off doing any finalising, tidying up and finishing of the cutscene. All going well on Monday next week, we'll be going back to our fruit boss, revisiting the first boss of the game, and maybe even working on the cutscene of that first boss. So that'll be fun. The field is looking good, thank you, Kung. I feel like we've come a long way compared to what it was at the start of last week. Really like the changes you made to the fence colour. Yeah, one thing we're gonna do first of all is make the trees that colour as well. Because we want to keep consistent with the wood here. Okay, so I've got a ton of tabs open right now of assets that I was searching for. It's quite interesting because it was mentioned very briefly in the last stream by Zexion, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was Zexion. That these tomatoes, because these are tomatoes, that one of them could be a tomato character. Who remembers Tomato? Let's get him up. Where is he? Where's our boy? I'm gonna have to find a picture of him now so people know who I'm talking about. Because some people might have not met him yet. Where is he? SV enemies. Here he is. Let's make him big. Oh, we don't want to distort him. This is our favourite fruit. No, he's not my favourite fruit. He's too emo. He's a look at that face. It's emo. Nothing against emos, by the way. But he just looks like he's got a bit of an attitude problem. That's one emo boy. Looks like a happy farm. Wish I could be at that farm. Well, yes, this is the farm that everybody's going to wish that they lived on. Well, maybe not, because who knows, maybe this place would be super depressing. We haven't decided what themes or tropes are happening in this area yet, so we don't know for sure what's going on, but there's been some discussion. There has been a bit of discussion about the pigs and the scarecrows. So one thing I have done is split the map into two, everybody. So we're going to have to make sure those maps look different. That was something we did at the end of the last stream. Tomato, hi Scav, welcome to the stream. Thank you for the follow. And anybody else that's followed that I didn't say thanks to, sometimes I miss. Rose, do you ever think about putting Easter eggs in these things? How much attention to detail do you usually look for? I am one for attention to detail if it adds to the game and if it is relevant, and it's I could be a big nerd about that if it's going to be something that, you know, definitely, as long as it's relevant to what the game is and any hidden lore to Raindrop Chronicles, then for sure I'm one for that. Because we're gonna be making lore discussion videos, I'm intending to go super deep with lore in Raindrop Chronicles. So over time, I think there's a possibility of this becoming a lore heavy game, because I find that kind of thing super fun, just rambling on about that. Looks like a farm in the fall. Look, the colours, yeah, super pretty, isn't it? For sure. We said that it's interesting, actually, that this is a autumn-inspired kind of palette that we've got going on, whereas Everbloom Forest is spring. So we've got a spring area here with all the flowers, and then we've got the autumn here. And it totally wasn't intentional. It just happened. Tomato, but yeah, we've got Emo Boy here. I put him here for a reason, because we're going to just briefly discuss this. But thank you for the house clockwork, SJ. How are you doing today? And Binary coming in with that Carol the Barrel Rage emote there, which is a bit emote and not a sub emote, by the way, just so nobody accidentally subs. It's a bit one. So if you would like Carol and Meryl, then those of you that are lucky enough to have the bit tiers, get those. You're very welcome, Hern. How are you doing, SJ? How are things going? I mean, that is a question I'm trying to avoid asking, but I always do. The reason I'm avoiding asking that question is because we're trying to limit discussion of anything stressful or world or life related things in the stream. We want to try and keep it fun and happy and geeky and related to all the nerdy things that we discuss in this stream. So there's a new rule, you see, guys, in the panel that's all about anything that could potentially be stressful discussion. We've got a Discord channel for that called The Shelter, and I encourage you guys to vent or talk about things like that in there. And I'm just mentioning that again just so anybody who's here knows about that. And it's my fault a lot of the time, because I ask how you guys are, and it would be very normal for you to respond saying, oh no, things are, and then the discussion would lead to that. Did I miss the announcements? Yeah, Binary. What I just said about the new rule, and that we because I promote this channel as a place where we escape daily life. You see, it even says that on the website. Second sentence on the website, it says that, which is here for anyone who hasn't seen the website yet. It says it's a place to, escape daily life. We're making a fantasy game here, so this is the place that we do escape the real world. So we're going to stick with that here. We're going to keep consistent with what I say that this channel is, and we're going to keep it a complete escape from real life stream. Things aren't too bad, but I can understand you avoiding it. Focusing on the positive is good. Yeah, and it's at the same time, I definitely don't want to dismiss how people are feeling, which is why I have a channel for it in the Discord, because I'd never want anybody to be alone and not have anybody to talk to. So that for sure has to exist. But yes, Tomato Boy. So Zexian mentioned, what if these tomatoes was where he was born? There's a chance. It all depends on where we want to take the story, because there's a poll idea that's been suggested. It's quite a complicated one, especially if you don't understand the lore that we've started to build. If you do watch the latest lore video, you'll be a bit clearer though. But yeah, so I'm going to get Zexian's poll idea up in the Discord now, actually. And to remember what those were. So let's Tomato Emo Boy is the star of the stream now. So it was in the general idea discussion is where it is. So I am going to copy and paste this and put it in Notepad, just so I don't have to stay on Discord forever. There we go. So now I can see it here. Oh Lord, yes, we have a lore video now, guys. I made it over the weekend, and it discusses really something that's very, very vital about why Carol even exists. Why is she even here? Why is there a living barrel in this game? And there is actually a reason for that. The video explains the exact reason why there's so many living objects in the game. And it's only 3 minutes long, so it doesn't ramble on for too long. So feel free to have a peek if you are intrigued, and give it a thumbs up, and give me a sub on YouTube if you haven't subbed already either. But if you haven't watched the video, you might get lost at this point when I start talking about what's going on now. But basically, the reason why Carol and her buddies are alive is because of a spell. They're not a race in the game. That's why you can't be a barrel when you fill in a character form, because they're not actual races in the game. Barrels aren't. They were brought to life by a spell. Accidentally. There's a big backstory reason why they was brought to life, which you'll have to watch the video for. I'm not going to bring that up now because it's not actually relevant at this point to bring that up. But the part of it being a spell is actually relevant to what I'm going to bring up now. Cosplay a barrel. Yeah, I want to. How would I make a barrel outfit, folks? Because I'd totally love to do a Carol cosplay, but I wouldn't even know where to start with a barrel costume. What engine are you using to make this game? Welcome, Cov. That's going to be a common question now for coming in. It's totally going to be a normal question for people to ask. I actually did used to have it in the title, Cov, that it was RPG Maker MV, but today I got rid of it because I've got a new little bit of thing in the title. Question of the week is what we've got now, because I'm trying to encourage geeky discussion with game related questions of the week. So unfortunately we had to get rid of the engine part. Well, there we go, exclamation mark program, but I do have a command for it, so anytime someone does ask, I have a link right there to what it is and information about it for those that haven't heard of it. So that will just be what I do from now on if anybody does ask that. And hi Van, how are you doing? Hi Beast Mode Brit, welcome back. It's good to see you guys. Hope you're doing well. I did look through the info below before asking, hoping I found it out, but didn't see it on the main website for the game or the info. Yeah, there's going to be an FAQ page though. I've been so preoccupied with different things, like because I'm one person making a game, that I'm not actually sure when it'll be up, but that's the goal. And things like that, what engine was used, will be like one of the first questions on the FAQ page. So that's something I'm intending to get up in the next several weeks, along with a credits page. And some of our latest videos that we've made as well will go up too. Hi Oracle, how are you doing? It's good to see you. You might be able to add RPG Maker as a tag. Oh, maybe, if it exists, if it's a thing. I'll look into that at some point and see if it is there. Do Twitch let us make our own tags if it's not there? I don't know. But yeah, that's a good idea, Zach. See if we can do that. Gonna bring some folks over. Ooh, folks, who? Who are these folks, Oracle? But yes, okay, so, right. Funnily enough though, people used to ask me what the program I used was when I still had it in the tile. So, you know, it's still a common question even when it's not in the tile. Oh, hi Pew Pew, welcome. Thanks for raiding. Welcome, it's good to have you all here. Are you Oracle's friends? He said he was going to bring some friends over. It's good to see you. Let's give a shout out to Welcome. How are you doing? How was the stream? You was playing Resident Evil Revelations. Oh, cool. That's one game I've never played because I'm scared. I get scared of scary games. How are you doing? Hi, Ashley. Welcome. But thank you so much for bringing your community over. I appreciate that. And anybody that's come over with the raid. It's good to meet you all. In this stream here, we're making an RPG game together. I build it and chat. We'll bounce ideas off each other and discuss the game. You can even be a character in the game yourself if you have enough currency points. We have a website for our game, so if you do want to check it out, it only got launched a couple of weeks ago. Have a peep if you're curious about what we do here. The website is our information hub. It was pretty scary. Oh my goodness. When I play spoopy games, I scream. I've played a couple on stream in the past before we started doing this project. Because I exclusively stream this now, but I used to stream video games. And there's a clip of me screaming my head off from a scary game. I get scared very easily. It looks incredible so far. Yay, thank you. I was curious where your accent is from. The info says you're from the middle of England, and I Google mapped and found Nottingham, where Robin Hood is from. That's funny. Maybe I'm Robin Hood's ancestor. Imagine. I have to head to bed soon myself, Rose. Have a great stream, folks, and have a good one yourself, Rose. I hope you can stop by again in the future. Always nice to see you as always. Thickrun, thank you so much for the chats and for all the games that you mentioned. Because we have a question of the week. So I'm asking people this week what their favourite zone or area is in a game. And Thickrun's gave us a lot. So awesome. I'm going to be Googling all these games later. Ashley is a man. Oh, right. I wanted to let you know I'm a guy, and yes, my name is Ashley. Awesome. Yeah, sometimes that can happen. It's the gender assuming, and of course, I'm gonna make sure I get you're right, and don't be calling you a lady. Awesome. But welcome to the stream. Ashley can be a guy or girl's name, can't it? As for us about the vile villainy of the blueberry tyrant, blueberry is precious. And yes, guys, you're probably curious why now if we've got an emo tomato in the middle of our screen right now. It's a very random thing that's happening. He doesn't belong here. The farm itself that we're making at the moment does not have a random emo tomato in it. But we've got him here because we're currently chatting about him. He's a character discussion subject right now. And we're talking about some ideas. Sleep well. Who's going to sleep? Well, take care. Thank you so much for the raid. And thanks for the follow, guys, as well. I appreciate that. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks for bringing your people over. Did you ever see the animated Robin Hood movie where it's all animals and Robin Hood is a fox? I haven't actually. I think I might have, but I can't remember because there's so many things I've seen years ago and I forgot. I need to rewatch all these movies. Thank you for the follow, Sarah, as well. I appreciate that. It's a really old Disney movie. Yeah, I may have seen it. There's so many Disney movies I watched multiple times as a kid that I don't even understand the story of because I was so young. Okay. So, tomato. It's not blueberry. There's been a discussion about where tomato might have been born. There's a chance it could have been in the Everbloom Forest, but there's a chance it could be here as well, and we aren't going to set it in stone right now because we've still got a poll before we make this decision. But it's interesting, that's all, that we have tomatoes here and we happen to have a tomato character in the game, so it's a possibility he was born here. There's a possibility. Because the spell that made Carol sentient and her friends, if you have watched the lore video, guys, because I released a lore video of Raindrop Chronicles over the weekend. So if you are curious about what I'm going on about right now, take a look at that. It's only 3 minutes long. It's going to be relevant to what we're talking about right now. So the spell that brought Carol to life and all her kin affected the fruits as well. So I've got a picture of the other fruits as well, I believe. So let me just, I mean, have I got one of them all? Because so I don't have to add them all one at a time. There must be one somewhere. Because I put one up on Twitter a while back, so I know that there's a picture of them all somewhere. Let's use my search. Right, I'm going to have to go on the Twitter and save the picture again, I think, because I can't find it. Here we go. Copy. I actually thank you very much for that, host. I appreciate that. Okay, give me a mo, folks, because we've only got Tomato on the screen at the moment and we have the rest of the gang, so I just want you all to be reminded of these guys because they are the actual first boss in the game and we have sidetracked a little bit from them because we've been focusing more on Carol and her companions lately. So we have sidetracked, but we will be revisiting them again once we finish this flashback cutscene. We will be going back to these guys and we'll be making a cutscene. We'll be doing dialogue first before the cutscene now. Because they are the next part of the game. So I'm gonna delete Tomato and just get them all up. Edward, hi, welcome. How you doing? And thank you as well, Ash, for that follow. I appreciate that. Thanks for a really great time. Hope you and your sister stay safe. Hope to see you guys real soon. Always make my day. You guys seem to have a lovely community. That blueberry looks suspicious. Oh, it was from 1973, that movie. A lot of Disney movies are old. Some of them, aren't they? Okay. And Binary as well, thank you for the sub on YouTube. Appreciate the subs, guys. If you're interested in what we do here, subbing to my YouTube is a good idea because I do upload on there quite regularly. There's going to be a lot of stuff that I show off that's going to get put up on there. I'll be making videos quite often now. Okay, so right, so let's just talk about these folks again. So the first boss, they're in the Everbloom Forest right now, and they might have been born there, but they could have been born here. I mean, it's a farm, crops grow here, tomatoes are growing here. They probably were transported on a cart to get to the Everbloom Forest. That could have been very likely. And then they could have got brought to life while they was in the Everbloom Forest. That is completely something that could work. But they could have also... The fact is they're in the Everbloom Forest, so they must have got on a cart. And we know that there's a trade route here because Carol and the Barrel friends are all on a cart, so that makes sense. And it totally wouldn't be impossible to have that as be the thing. But if we were going to do that, I feel that maybe we should make the crops of the other four. Maybe we should find some assets and put them all on the farm. If we want to go all out, rather than just tomato, because the reason is I'm thinking we need some more crops. We've got lots of space here to fill in some gaps, and we have another farm map as well. And I don't think we'll have tomatoes on both. We'll probably mix it up a bit, just for a bit of variety. So there's an option to actually purposely look for some blueberries, plums and some of the others and put them on the maps too. and it could have been where they was born. You know? Could be. So, and it's just like really, like I say, I go to super detail. I think about all the backstories of all our characters here, especially the ones that are very key in the story, and the fruits are. They could be. Because even though they're the first boss, they might not die, because you as the player get the option to not kill them at the end. So there's a chance that there could be an extra story later on where they return. But we still have to do all the dialogue and the scene with them. There's an option to... It's going to be fun, that is. We're going to make some fun dialogue with these guys. That's for sure. So that'll be something we go to and start doing once we've finished our flashback Carol scene. Okay, guys, so give me a mo. Just checking something very quickly. Okay, so I was going to put a tweet up and I was in the middle of writing it in the starting soon screen. I was going to put it up during stream just so I could say I was live. But I might put it up after stream now. We'll see. A couple of lemon trees and some blueberry bushes, and maybe a plum wasn't from the farm but was a native wild plum, which is why he's different from the others personality wise. Oh, do you think plum's the most different then? Because they're all quite different, yeah. You've got pure innocent sweet blueberry. You've got the bitter lemon. You've got edgy tomato. You've got boring apple. Sorry, apple. You're not boring, greedy. And plum. Plum is an interesting one because he's clearly the intelligent one. But is he crazy? Is he going to be a crazy professor kind of guy, or is he going to be the sensible professor? We could go either way with Blueberry, couldn't we? I mean, Plum. Plum is the only one that doesn't stick out in my head, so I'd say he's kind of different. Oh, you think he's forgettable? Your Discord don't work. It said your link expired. Oh, does it? Some people have said that, actually. Because it works for me and it's worked for some others. And so it's quite an unusual bug, that is, actually. Did you try the one in the panels? The Discord Rain Army. Discord.me Rain Army one. Is that the one you tried? Because we had someone join the Discord today, so I don't know if it's something on mobile or, you know, it's a bit confusing, but you're not the only one who this has affected. I'll try and find another link for you. See if we can get another. Invite people, that's it. There's another link there. So for those of you, Ashley, and anybody else, if it isn't working, just feel free to use that one. Have you tried the Dragon Quest games? I've not played them, no, but I've heard good things about them, and the last one looked really good and really pretty. Yeah, it's weird. For some people it doesn't work, and I'm wondering if it's a mobile thing or whether it's another reason. Plum is the only one that doesn't stick. Yeah, so that is true, and it depends what assets we can find, I guess. And I was looking for some assets. I've got some new crops that I found. Let's just have a little browse. So I found some more tomatoes, but we've already got tomatoes, and I really like the tomatoes we've got. But I wouldn't. Could we recolour these so they look like something else? Maybe we could recolour them so they look like blueberries. But is that how blueberry plants would look? They might be more of a bunched up look, because we have purple there, but I think they're meant to be grapes. I believe. I do like them. We could colour those in blue and say they're blueberries, or colour them in and say they're blueberries. But we've also got apple and lemon trees as well. Is it only trees that lemons and apples grow on, guys? Or could we recolour these into green and yellow fruits and just say that they're apples and lemons? You know, like I say, I'm no farmer pro. So there's an opportunity to do that. We could just recolour that tomato and create the other fruits. Like, I know he is a smart one, but that's not a lot of information. Like, lemon was a veteran and tomato is an emo boy, and plum is just plum, you know. Yeah, just plum. He's wild. And yeah, sometimes when it comes to making the lore and backstory characters, not every single gap and story of their event, their life has to be in great detail. We could always keep some things open to the imagination. But sometimes it's nice to like put these little Easter eggs was something someone mentioned, and detailing things, and I like doing those things, which is why, for example, I've thought, yeah, maybe we should do that. Maybe we should just make each of those fruits on this farm. We've already done it for tomato, and it like potentially could make people think, yeah, maybe tomato was born here, or maybe so and so, and it'll bring all these theories to light. I'd love people to have theories on this game and discussion pop up from time to time, even though we don't have to confirm it, or we could always confirm things in a later episode. But it's fun to kind of encourage that discussion. So that's why I think it's totally worth putting them on the farm. It might not even be the case that they was born here, but it opens it up to the possibility that they could have been born here. Apples and lemons are only on trees, yeah. So if we did recolour that little plant and say there was apples and lemons, people would say this game isn't true. So maybe we should look for some fruit tree assets, because we could totally do that. This bit here that we've currently got the tomatoes, we could empty it out on one of the maps, because we've got 2 maps now, you see, and we should maybe have the tomatoes on one map, and then on the second map remove them and replace them with apple and lemon trees. I think some trees could look potentially quite pretty on there. And then maybe on these bits we could put little blueberries and plums. It depends, because I do kind of see your point, Zexy, but you know, plums, what do plum plants even look like? I don't even know. If we haven't got the assets for that, then we can't do it anyway. 300 raindrops, yes, you're getting there. You're getting there, Oracle. Plums are also on trees, yeah. I'm going to have to look at some reference images, aren't I? Dragon Quest VIII for the PS2 is some of the greatest voice acting in any game I've played, said Zephyrus. The UK English accent in the games are really fun and add to the game. Oh, it's so good, isn't it, when the voice acting's really good in games? It definitely does add to it, I agree. For sure. And yeah, unfortunately I missed that one. There is a lot of games out there I've missed out on, that's for sure. Maybe one day, if I ever get time to play some of them, I will. Okay, right, so trees. We've got some crops here I've found, but we need trees. And we'll look at some reference images too, so lemon tree. So probably get my snack in about 10 minutes or so, guys, as well. I'm getting a peckish one. So this is a lemon tree. Oh no, we don't want to get that up. Yeah, I think some lovely lemon trees would really set off our farm as well and go really well with the colour scheme. An apple tree is green. The apples are green. Well, the apple, our character, is green, not a red one. So we've already got red tomatoes. So it'd be nice to bring in some green into the farm anyway. So I'm going to just look and see if we have got a tile set with trees. Fruit trees. RPG Maker MV fruit trees. If there's some that really go with the art style we've got, then we'll totally get them. I want to have, because these ones here don't go with the art style we've got. I want to stay as close as possible and consistent when making these maps. So we'll look for trees that have a similar look to what we've got. I mean, these trees are great, these ones here, and they're by the same artist as well, but they're not fruit trees, so we can't intend, I mean, we could always add fruits to them, but it might look a bit lame. So if I can, I'd rather go for an asset we've got. We've got a little bush here with fruits on. Does anyone know what fruits they would be? I'm intrigued, because that's a pretty bush. It could look nice on some of our roads. It goes well with the colour scheme we've got as well. Hi God's Gifts, I'm from England. Maybe green limes, the lemon and lime can be cousins or something. Green limes, yeah. We could mix it up. Can you have a tree with both lemon and limes on? And you never know, could be a lime character in the game in the future. You could have it be tomato be from the farm, which might be why he's emo, or you could have tomato and blueberry be from the farm and the other tree be from the forest, or you can have all of them be from the farm, whichever you like best. Farm strawberry, yeah. There's there's so many fruits out there that it's just endless for what we could have. But these fruits in particular are the ones that we have in our game 100%. So we know for a fact that these guys here are in the game, and we're kind of thinking of their origins, where they might have originated from now, and that's why we're looking for, trees that we can have on these farms that might kind of give people the impression that they were born here. But it's true, they could have been from the Everbloom Forest. Maybe, like Zexy suggests, the fruit trees are from the forest and the tomato and blueberries are from the farm. And now they've created a little community together. Now they've become sentient because the tomato and blueberry were transported by wagon to the forest, and they met each other and fell in love and lived happily ever after. Okay, so Everbloom Forest. I'm going to have a look at Everbloom Forest again, actually, now that's been mentioned, because we have trees here in Everbloom Forest, but not fruit trees. And I'm going to have a look at the assets still and see if there are any fruit trees that exist, and if they do look better with the Everbloom Forest colour palette because of the green. We've got the green going on here, and it definitely would fit if they were green trees to have them here. Then we could always totally, where are we? Where's Secret Haven? Not Secret Haven, sorry, Ancient Overlook. This is where the fruits hang out, and we've got a lot of fruit assets here right now for testing purposes. But obviously there'll only be just the 5 of them when we do the actual scene. because I was testing all their animations and walks. This is where the scene will take place when we first meet the fruits and we have the first boss. Some of these trees we could totally turn into fruit trees, that's for sure, and that would indicate that lemon and apple were born here. And as the leaders, that works. Like, they're the leaders. They're also probably the oldest ones. Definitely lemon's the oldest anyway. And blueberry and tomato are the youngest, funnily enough. So we were talking about generations of the sentience in our lore video as well. So let me get that up again. In the last minute of the lore video, we talk about the order in which they were born, Carol and her companions. And it could have worked a similar way with the fruits. Lemon being the oldest, being born first. Blueberry being the one born last. And he's now a birthday boy because he's wearing a hat, bless him. So yeah, we could totally do it so they were born first and were born in the Everbloom Forest, and the others were from the farm and were born at a later date because the spell radius reached them after, or it contaminated them after. We don't even know for sure that the spell affected the farm at this point. We still have to get that poll up and decide. But even if it didn't affect the farm, we can just say that the fruits were brought here on wagon and were brought to life after that. I can always say that. So there's always a way to take the lore to make it work. That's for sure. And hi, Battle Sandwich, how are you doing? I'm late with my hi because I'm rambling on as I always do. How are you doing? And what do you use to develop a game? And we've had that question again. It's a common question today. Exclamation mark program, God's Gifts, or anybody else at all who's curious. That is what we use, RPG Maker MV. Used to have it in my title, but got rid of it because we're doing the question of the week thing now, and there wasn't enough space to keep that in the title. So yes, I want to encourage question of the week chats, that's for sure. Keep on the theme of geeky stuff. Kind of busy doing house stuff since not had time bags for work, so I'll be leaning on the lurk. So totally fine, you lurk away, Battle Sandwich. Could listen to her all day. Yeah, well that's good. Because I'm someone that has to talk a lot as a streamer. And it's always good to know that your voice is not annoying when you're a streamer. Appreciate that. Working 6 days this week. Yeah, that's insane for sure. I'm gonna just keep very brief on that discussion there, Battle Sandwich, because there's actually a new rule on the stream now, and I don't mind mentioning it again. I'm probably gonna have to mention it a few times this week, just because on the website, I always advertise my stream as a place where we escape daily life. So I'm not going to kind of encourage all that discussion about stressful world-related or life-related topics. I know that you guys, I'll probably mention it, and I'm not going to be mad at you if you do, because it's very normal to mention that. And we do have the shelter channel in our Discord. If anyone is feeling a bit stressed, our channel in Discord is the perfect place to vent, and I encourage you guys to use that if you need to. But that at least keeps it the stream on topic and productive, and also you guys can still get to mention things if you're stressed in the Discord. At least have fun, everyone. No worries at all. Yay! Okay, so unable to watch more streams more than normal. One day I'll be able. We'll be glad to have you back, Battle Sandwich, whenever you're free and able to come and hang out. But I appreciate you stopping by and for the lurks. Okay, so what were we talking about? Yeah, we're talking about the fruit lore now, because we released a lore video over the weekend, which I made the command a bit above. So if you are intrigued by the story and you want to get involved in that kind of thing, read the website, have a peek if you haven't yet. Then the YouTube video is the perfect thing to watch, because then you'll understand what we're rambling on about. So yes, I'm totally up for having some fruit trees in this area, because it would look nice. It would fit the summer theme of the Everbloom Forest, wouldn't it? I think, because we've kind of got a summer theme going on here, whereas we got more of an autumn thing going on here. And we don't have to be too restrictive. I mean, we can. It's not all like this place is going to be autumn all year round. That's just how it looks. Forever autumn. Just because we don't want to make too many assets of different seasons. I don't even think we've got a season cycle going on in our game. We've not got that advanced with this for sure just yet, but everything is winter now. Yeah, I can't wait to make a snow place eventually, even though that'll probably be way later on. But it will totally happen. We're making all areas and places and environments here in this game. It's an excuse to make a huge world. But I'm going to just Google image, have a look at those fruit tree images again, because we was having a look at that and I went off for some reason. But there's a lot of trees here, like 95% of them aren't probably going to be a fit. Some of them might look really good though. And maybe there's no fruit trees at all. We don't know yet. But I feel like if we scour the internet enough, we'll find some. We could always merge the assets together. If we do find some fruits we could always literally just put them on the trees. If it looks good, we could do that. Who knows, that could work. We could put them on the trees we already have. So that's something I'm going to just be considering, and for the trees, that's for sure. But we'll go back to the farm for now, and we'll get blueberry in the farm. So we got tomato here already, but what I think I want to do, just for realism, is make sure that the red of this tomato matches with our guy, because I think it's a slightly different red. I don't think we have to change it too much, just a touch lighter maybe. Yeah, and plum, you know, I kind of like for sure Zex's idea at keeping it mysterious maybe, because Plum's mysterious, isn't he? He's the mysterious one, so keeping his backstory mysterious and his origins is cool. And then the other 4, 2 of them from the Everbloom Forest, 2 of them from the farm. I like that, but I've still got Zexian's Poll. I've got Zexian's Poll still, so I'm gonna just read that out again. Right. So there's 4 options here. I'm going to just read them in my head for a sec. So I think it'll be a cool idea to get this poll up. What do you reckon, folks? Because especially with the release of our lore video, it's relevant. So we could totally put up a poll today with these questions, well, these options in the question, should I say, and put the lore video there next to it or above it, and say, you know, encourage people to watch that so they have an understanding of what this poll's about. And because otherwise, if I don't put the lore video there with it, people potentially might not know what they're voting for. So it's always good to, and I think because we've just brought it out, it's relevant now at this point to do that poll. And we'll keep it open for at least a few days, probably maybe till the end of the week, Thursday stream, just so we can keep encouraging people to watch the video and invoked, because this would be more of a slow poll. I think it's not one that where it's a quick and instant or easy answer. It's a little bit more of a thinky poll, more consideration. I mean, I'm not even sure which one I'll vote for yet. So I'm going to get a poll up, folks. That's what we'll do. I'm always down for more polls, yay. So I'm going to get a snack right now, and then we're going to write this poll when I get back. And as for the crops and the trees that we've just been talking about, getting the fruits into the farm, that's what we'll work on after that. And anything I don't finish today, I'm going to be working more off stream tonight, because I do have time tonight to do it. And all going well, I'll have some more crops for us all tomorrow, and we can get into the more detailed side of the parallax mapping tomorrow, or we could even work on the wagon. But it'll be really nice to get all the crops in place. I think that'll be a good job done, filling all these gaps, make sure the two maps look different from each other, and not too samey. That's kind of the goal. Fill it up with lots of pretty crops. But first, BRB and then a poll. Okay, polls are so much fun, yay! So this one, it is a more of a wordy poll. It's probably going to take a bit more consideration composing this poll, but it's going to be totally worth it. So I'll be back in a few minutes, guys. Don't go anywhere. And then we'll get that poll up. I am back. Hello. I have some coconut and almond milk. It's good. It's very good. It's nice that when they're both together. Pals are so much fun. I'm always down for more pals. Agreed. Well, that's awesome. I'm really glad that you guys actually enjoy doing the pals, and I like to do them as much as possible. I mean, of course, I don't want to overdo it when it's not really necessary to do one, but for sure when it's like a really, when it could potentially be something really interesting and ideal, then I'll do it for sure. I love how simple and beautiful your BRB scene is. Yeah, thank you. That I made that as well ages ago. It's the first thing I did when I made the channel. So yeah, I wanted to do it so it was on theme. Raining blood. A shot, yeah. Definitely. It's been ages since I've had a drink. I had some wine last night though. Back with lunch, how was your snack? Still got it. Almond and coconut milk. I always get very self-conscious about eating anything like that's hard to eat on stream. I think it's just me. I don't like eating on stream. But this coconut and almond milk is like, it's good because it doesn't ruin my dinner. Because I have dinner right after stream, but it fills me up. It stops me from being hungry. I have some orange juice. Orange juice is super refreshing. Okay, so poll time. Should we keep our fruits on the screen, or should we get rid of them? we'll hide them for a bit. Okay, guys. Right, so Zexian's really been a great help with this poll, because I wouldn't even know where to start with this poll. It's an in-depth law related poll. So I'm definitely going to be putting the video with this poll, because I encourage people to have watched it before they vote, just so we don't get any flawed answers in this poll. But the fact is though, there's going to be 4 options to choose from that I'm going to write up. I think that'll be 4 anyway. Any of these could work. So the fact is, whatever wins will work. We're not going to put anything on the poll that will be silly or not make sense. So I'll be happy whatever one we end up with, really. So it won't ruin the game or the law if a certain one wins that we don't expect. And there's no wrong answer. So you just vote for what you like the most, or what sounds the most appealing to you. But there's definitely not a wrong answer. And I think that's the main thing when it comes to creating these polls. I have to at least be happy with whatever one it could potentially end up being that wins, because otherwise we could end up with something that ruins the game. But I suppose we want some form of control so things don't end up chaotic. But I think we got a good balance at the moment. All the polls we've done have been really good. And they'll be posted on the website as well, consistently. Okay, so shall I write a notepad first, or shall we get Discord up? I might show my notepad file to you guys. That milk makes me burp. Okay, so I'm going to let's get a window capture up. Window capture. Just because we're going to write it up in Notepad first, I think, just so we're happy with the wording, and then we can get it put straight into Discord. Ooh, that is not what we want. We don't want a big black screen. So this here is actually what Zexion wrote in the Discord. I've copied and pasted it. So this is all Zexion. I'm going to just run through this so you guys can actually see what on earth I'm talking about right now. So with regards to the Everbloom Forest spell question, I see it having 4 general options. Okay, so before we write down the options, of course, we need to write the question. Okay, so now this is the hard bit. Right, so what are the answers? Bad being direct effect of the forest, but things within the forest can still live. Spell was contained to the forest. Right, I'm writing down a question now, but we might slightly alter this a bit if we need to. And if you guys can think of a better wording, feel free to suggest. How did the spell that brought Carol something like that. And I'm obviously up for suggestions, but that's the first thing that springs to mind. And I'm also going to put the lore video. Right, note. Maybe this shouldn't be part of the question though. Watch the lore video on I wrote that with the pigs and scarecrows in mind more so than fruits, which might be why my wording feels a little clunky. Yeah, well, with everything, the pigs, the scarecrows, the fruits, the barrels, like literally anything that would have been brought to life by this spell potentially is part of this question. It's all totally relevant, and the pigs are very important to me. I love them already, so. Definitely. Whether they're sentient or not, the pigs, I'm still going to love them. You know, if you guys decide you don't want the spell to affect the farm and think, nah, let's just stop having talking creatures for a moment, please. If that's what wins the poll, then I'm not going to be sad. We can totally make a story work with pig factions that don't talk, but we could do it. That's why it says there's not one wrong answer here. Whatever wins will work. Oracle, thank you for the host as well. And hi, Andy Cake, how are you doing? So, okay, so how do you spell the I feel like saying, I don't want to say, please, you better watch that lore video now because you can't vote, otherwise I wouldn't be like that. But I kind of want to say that watching the lore video will help a lot for you to understand the context of this question. I've after watching the law video, how do you think the spell? Yeah, the only reason I'm probably not thinking of putting the law video link in the question is because when I put it on the website, I tend to write the whole question as well on the poll page. So I don't want to make it too wordy. So I'm thinking of making it separate from the question just for that reason, just for presentation reasons when it's on the website. So it's not like a super long poll question there. But we can totally like say before it will be helpful to watch this law video before voting on the following poll or this poll. Yeah, I'll put above because I'll put the link into the law video. And then I'll say that it will be helpful to watch the law discussion video above before voting on this poll. How did the spell that brought Carol and her companions to life in Everbloom Forest affect nearby areas? Does that make sense? Okay, so now we can just alter these if necessary. I might need some more elaboration on clarification, but that's how I would categorise it at a very basic level. Awesome. I appreciate it tons, Exy, because it's very difficult to know where to begin, isn't it, when thinking of the options. You think, what options have we got available here? What are the possibilities? And I think you summed it up quite well. They might, like you say, need a slight reword, but they're there. What we're after is all there. It's okay, not much to do at home. Awesome. How's your new PC going, Andy? I hope it's treating you well. My mouse keeps getting dirty, even though I cleaned it just before stream. Okay, so till Friday. Oh my goodness, you are patient. RAM is a good upgrade though. I did that recently too. Okay, so here we go. The spell has directly affected things outside the forest. We'll shorten it, keep it short and sweet, so we'll just... Would that make sense? Of course, if I change anything and it sounds weird, feel free to suggest, guys. The spell has directly affected things outside the forest. The spell was contained to the forest, but things within the forest can still leave and migrate to other areas, this being the wild pig idea. So we'll probably have to alter the pig stuff because people won't understand the context, because they weren't here when we had our awesome pig conversation. Missed out. And we don't discuss the pigs in the lore video either, so but we can still mention the pigs, but we might have to just bring up what that's all about, just briefly. Seems like you buy a new mouse every year, and mine's one that's wireless. Okay. If I can get rid of some of the wires in my room, that's great. Inspector Gunner, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. We're working on a poll at the moment, so we're just We're writing it all up, getting it all written out perfectly before we put it in Discord. Maybe change them to the spell is contained in the forest. Nothing outside the forest is alive because of the spell. Spell is contained in the forest, but things may have migrated to immediate nearby areas. The spell has spread to other areas and is bringing things to life there. Okay, so you think just have the 3 then and not 4? Let me just, hang on, let me remind myself what the 4th is. So that would be where the one where you say the pigs aren't intelligent at all. That would be the spell is nothing outside the forest is alive. That would basically be that one, wouldn't it? Everything is just normal. Everbloom Forest is the only enchanted place in the game. So we could like say that. So. The spell only affected Everbloom Forest. It's the only enchanted area. I always think, what's the best word? Area, zone or region? Because they all mean the same thing, but sometimes one of them sounds better over the other. It's the enchanted area in the game. And nothing outside it is alive. Something like that. Right, so spells contain 5 switches to do which we could cover. Yeah, so that 3 and 4 was basically the same, wasn't it? I think just basically both of those meant nothing's alive. I think, but correct me if I'm wrong. Right, let's see what there's. Spell is contained first, but things may migrate. Right, so the spell only, let's keep the wording as close as possible then, and we'll always call it Everbloom Forest so everybody's clear on that. The spell only affected Everbloom Forest, but things within the forest can still leave and migrate to other areas. So that would mean that if those things did leave and come to the Everbloom Forest, they would be brought to life because they've migrated there. For example, if Blueberry and who's the other one? Blueberry and Tomato, if they were born here in this farm, if they were grown here in this farm, and then were taken by wagon to the Everbloom Forest for people to eat. No, nobody can eat the fruits. If they were taken for the Everbloom Forest, you know, from this farm, they came to life then because being in the Everbloom Forest made them alive because it's enchanted. Is that what number 2 is saying? I think it is. I believe I'm right. Whereas number 3 is more about nothing, you know, even if they do migrate, they won't be affected. You have to be in the forest at the time the spell was created to be affected. I think that's the difference. So maybe we should clarify that if that's the case. Whereas number 1 would mean that it's not only the the spell has affected things outside Everbloom Forest. I'm just gonna, before we pause the poll and get it up, I want to make sure that we've got a clear understanding of what each of these three actually are and how they're different from each other. The spell has affected things outside Everbloom Forest. I put areas instead of things. Should we say all areas or nearby areas? Well, all areas would mean the whole entire world. That would be a pretty powerful spell. Imagine, it affected the entire world, the whole world now. Raindrop Chronicles has living sentient things in it. But we could just say nearby. I mean, we could do both, but we could just say nearby because this farm's nearby. It would probably make more sense if it was nearby, in all honesty, rather than all areas in the whole world. The spell has affected nearby areas outside Everbloom Forest. I'm wondering about this one actually, the water contamination and wind thing, whether that fits more with number 2. Or maybe I'm wrong in saying it fits number 2, but I'm thinking with the first one, or at least with one of the options, that it was the radius of the spell that was cast that reached the farm because it was so big that's the reason why nearby areas were also affected. More like the spell's radius rather than the contamination and wind. But they could, I suppose they could be the same. Maybe that would be the same thing. The basic breakdown would be the spell could have moved to other areas, which means we could have living objects basically anywhere. The spell only affects things in the forest, but once brought to life they can leave the forest. This means we could have things brought to life in nearby areas but farther away from Everbloom. The less living objects we can have. The spell only affected Everbloom, and we can't use this spell to explain anything outside. Awesome. So number 3 is very straightforward. That just simply means it's the only, we'll just get that one's wordy first, and then I'm gonna get my brain into gear and work out the distinct difference between 2 and 3 by rereading those sexy. Don't know if we need to put only capitals. It's the only. I don't know about capitals actually. I kind of wanted to add emphasis, but now I'm not sure. Okay, so the difference between 1 and 2 is basically 1 could mean anywhere in the world, whereas 2 is more about it being nearby. So I guess it's just thinking of a reword, like is it necessary to say water contamination when maybe that's just fluff that we don't need, so it doesn't mislead. Maybe we just need to make it more clear. And it's not nearby. The spell has for emphasis. Oh, do they allow that even in the polls? Hopefully they do. I think italics do look better than capitals, that's for sure. It doesn't look like you're shouting. So the examples of how it happened don't need to be there. They can be, at this point it's unnecessary stuff for people to read, isn't it, if we have the reasons for how it happened and getting all scientific about it. it would be just a bit too confusing and a bit too much information for people. So it'd be a good idea to keep these polls brief as possible, I guess, and get straight to the point with them. So the spell has affected areas that, should we put... Is that a bit much, saying all areas in the world? I kind of want to make sure that we don't confuse people with 1 and 2, that we get the difference between them. So, because if I say areas outside Everbloom Forest, that still sounds like we mean nearby. The spell... The spell has affected nearby areas. The spell only affected Everbloom Forest, but yeah, this second one's is more confusing with the wording, that's for sure. So because it's the confusing one. It's neither one of the extremes. It's a bit more complicated with how this one could have worked. It's only affected the forest, am I right? But if things that were living there move, then that's how it affected nearby areas. It's a little bit confusing, that one, but I'll get it. Thank you, ma'am, for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Maybe how the spell could have affected any number of areas and we can use it to explain any living objects we want. The spell only affected the areas immediately next to Everbloom and we can only use it to explain things in the next 1 or 2 areas. The spell only affected Everbloom and we cannot use it to explain anything else. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, because it's a bit more simplified, and it brings in the fact that we can be creative with having more sentient things in the game, or if people don't want sentient stuff, then they'd say no. Yeah, that I agree with that direction, Zaxi. So I'm going to work on rewording those similar to what you said. First time seeing an RPG Maker here. Yeah, I stream Monday to Thursday every week. It is RPG Maker that we do here, and it's definitely not something you see on Twitch all the time, that's for sure. But welcome, it's good to have you here. We're working on a poll at the moment. We're going to get a poll up in our Discord so you guys, the community, can vote on their favourite. We do these polls quite often. Also, Ma'am Jet, if you want to have a look at the website, or anybody else, anyone lurking, feel free to have a look at our website, because it'll give you all the infos. Right, the spell could have affected any number of hours, and we can explain any. How does Bellabrook County Companion's Life and Everbloom Forest affect nearby areas? I'll say the rest of the world. spell could have affected all areas in the world, allowing us to have as many sentient objects in the game as we want. The spell only affected the areas immediately. Yeah, the spell only affected nearby areas to the Everbloom Forest. I don't know if that, hang on. And nearby areas. Yeah, the spell only affected Everbloom Forest and areas nearby. Do we need to put the migrate stuff? We can only use it to explain things. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we don't need to get into the nitty gritty about being migration or anything at that point, but we'll word it more so saying allowing us to have sentient object we'll put characters there just for a bit more so people understand more what we mean by that. Allowing us to have sentient object characters in next. Right, and the spell only affected Everbloom Forest, this one, and we cannot not use it to explain anything else. Nothing and nothing. Have more sentient on it. See nothing outside it is alive. How's that work? What do you think about that wording? Any opinions, guys? Oh, you're getting there, Gus. You're doing all right. Nearly a shower. Option 1 turns a spell into a global plot point. Option 3 turns a spell into a minor plot point that's only used in Everbloom. Option 2 lets us use it for a bit longer, making it more of a story arc and lets us transition to other directors. That is really a good way to put it. I like it. I feel like adding that in brackets or something, but at the same time I don't want to get too wordy, just because it's really intriguing. It's a really like, you really get to make a decision now about the game. Is this going to be global? Is it going to be the whole of the game's most major plot point? Or is it going to be something that is a story arc just for a couple of episodes in the game? And then in later episodes, things go a different direction. You know, it's actually a very important poll, this is, when you think about it. It's a big deal. I'm just shortening that one just a touch. I don't know if we needed that particular bit, so I've just shortened it. Maybe we should, I'm thinking maybe what Zexy mentioned, we could word it into the title somehow. Let's have a think for a sec. Should the spell that brought Carol and her companions to life be a major plot point that affects the rest of the world, or only the Everbloom Forest? Something to that degree, because I'm thinking of wording the title to that kind of way now. Because if we put it in the options, it might get a bit wordy. And the tile itself doesn't really add much, I don't think, right now. So I'm thinking of doing that. Master Emerald, oh my goodness, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. That's so kind of you. 5 months of being subscribed with Twitch. Oh my goodness, thank you, Master Emerald. Let's have some hype in chat. Keep forgetting I have this here. You can have it. Hope you're doing well. Well, I really appreciate that you give me your Twitch Prime, you know. That's precious. You give it to me, of all peoples. I'm going to give some hype to Master Emerald. Thank you so much. How are you doing, Master Emerald? How is your art, is your writing treating you? I hope it's going well. Tell us all about all your creative stuff. We're working on a poll at the moment, and the goal is to get it up before the end of the stream. And it's going well. We've mostly got it worded now, so it's going to get put up on the Discord. I'm going to open it for you guys to vote, and I'm going to keep it open until the end of the week, this one. So yay. Okay, so I'm going to just before I delete that one, I'm going to word it again and we'll see which one looks best. Should the spell that brought Carol actually I'm thinking, should the spell that brings intimate, I put intimate instead of inanimate, my goodness, inanimate objects to life, because I'm thinking it was worded Carol and companions, but I'm thinking that's worded so it's more about the other objects, because this is more relevant to the question. Should the spell that brings objects to life be a major plot point that affects the world? Or should it be a minor one? Improving my portfolio because there's a course I want to go on for tutoring young people in writing. Oh, that sounds really fun. That's so cool. That's awesome. I want to see some lessons now with Master Emerald. Be cool if you did that on your streams. I'd be there. I'd be there. I honestly think Twitch should have a writing category, like a sort of, you know how there's art, science and technology and all that. There should be a writing one as well. So it's a pity there isn't there? Because it could be so cool. I'd go under that category. Maybe I'm spitballing here. The spell has a global impact and we use it to explain basically everything with things being brought to life. The spell is significant but limited impact and we use it as explanations for the first few episodes, then transition to other ideas. The spell is limited to Everbloom and we can't use it to explain anything outside. No, that's really good. I like that wording because you've simplified what we're trying to write here. The only thing is that would mean that we've got rid of we're kind of cutting things down a bit, but I don't think we'd lose anything by cutting things down. Okay, so we've got time, guys. Stream isn't over yet, so there's no rush. Let's just get both ideas in here and compare them to each other and see what looks best. We're just putting a lot of thought into this part here because it's a tricky one. It's a very law based poll. It's not a simple one. It's not like what could be the name of this barrel, that they're very simple polls. This one's a really kind of more in-depth one, so it's taking more thought, and we want to make sure it's all worded good. So I'm basically going to mostly put what Zex has got. So you put, we use it to explain everything with the things brought to life. Could we do it so we have it as that, or is that a bit wordy? I kind of want people to know that it just gives us that creative freedom to potentially have more characters like Carol, like the pigs and scarecrows. Obviously we don't need to mention the pigs and scarecrows because it's getting a bit wordy then, but you know, having that there might like just let people know we can do that. But how you say it works too, but I'm just wondering if people would get the idea here that we making a decision on, should we have more sentient characters in the game or should we not have more sentient characters in the game. I greatly hate Pinterest. I do too. I'm sorry if anyone's a fan of it, but I found that when I found things on Pinterest and clicked the link to look at it, none of it links there. They're all broken links. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not using the website right, but it's happened a lot of times. We got a new rule. I'll just say that. Check the panels. Technically, it might have a freelance job out of it because the people are running it. I do tutoring on stream if I could find the time to fit it in, but I try to explain what I'm doing in the work ones anyway. Yes. Well, that's totally fine. Like, you know, not everything people do on stream is, sometimes you want it to be a freelance thing. That's totally understandable, Master Emerald. Totally awesome and a good idea. That's for sure. That works great. Yay! Pinterest is annoying. Yeah, so Kung's in agreement as well. Okay, so and what else? How else did Zexy word this? Spell has a significant but limited impact. Right, so I'm fond of the way you've changed into how it being global and all local. I think that wording works well. So I'm kind of trying to do a merging of how I written it there and how you've written it. We can use it as explanations for the first few episodes, but then transition to other ideas. Okay. So allow us to have more sentient object characters in, and I'm gonna. Oh, hang on, I missed something out here. Limit significant. Okay, so it's interesting how you word it by episodes in that one, but it's hard to judge at this point how many episodes it'll be. It might just be 2, it might be 3, it might be 4, because we don't know how many areas we're going to have per episode. But I think having it so saying it's the potentially 1 or 2 more hours could work. So that, what do you think about that wording? And now the spell. yeah, the 1 for 3 works. Let's just see if can't use it to explain anything outside. Nothing outside is alive. Yeah, what do you think? I think I've done a merging there of our 2 ideas for wording. The spell has a global impact, allowing us to have as many sentient object characters in the game as we want. The spell has a significant limit to the next 1 or 2 areas. Have I missed anything really important here? Like, I know that it got mentioned by Zexion somewhere. Let me just... that it allows us to transition to other ideas. That's an interesting point that maybe we should have. Maybe we should put that in the title. So should the spell that brings objects to life be a major plot point that affects the world for a major plot point in the game, or something that happens only... I might change a bit of this, but let's get it Davos and that in there first. Should the spell... Does that even make sense now? But it's maybe I'm going off track with the questions and the answers. Pinterest is pointless. Yeah. Google Images is my one. I use that. And welcome, by the way, to the stream, and thank you for the follows as well, guys. Appreciate it. Episode equals out. That was poor word, area work. Yeah, it's because it's hard to say, isn't it? At that point, are we going to have 1 area in the game or 2? It's kind of still out. It's still, you know, it's either going to be 1 or 2 areas, I'd say, but it could even just be the 1 area. I'm going to wait to see and judge depending on how much content we actually have in the Everbloom Forest. If it ends up being quite chunky, which I'm kind of aiming for Everbloom Forest to be, then it'd probably just be Everbloom Forest in episode 1. All depends how chunky Everbloom Forest section of the game ends up being. If it isn't, then we'll probably end up having the farm area in episode 1 too. But otherwise, the farm will be episode 2, not episode 1. Okay. Transition to other ideas. We could still have sentient creature objects in the future, but it would be unrelated to the spell. We would come up with new creative idea to explain why they're alive. Or we don't even have to have sentient things at all. We could literally just say Carol and her companions are enough when it comes to sentient objects, and exploring other themes and just having normal characters could be cool too, you know. So it depends. It just depends what people like. Okay, so should the spell that brings objects up be or something that happens only... right, so... yeah, it's the title I'm wondering about now, because I want to keep it relevant to the questions. I don't want to make it go off track, or... so... I'm thinking now, rather than talking about it as a plot point, rewording it to it being affecting the world again, just to keep it on track. What impact on future events, future development should the spell that brought the creatures of Everbloom to life have? Yeah, that's a good short way of putting it. I definitely feel the way it is at the moment is super wordy, so we need to shorten it to make it short and sweet. Right, so objects or creatures. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because they were originally objects, but now they're creatures. We're getting super detailed here. What impact should the spell that brought objects to life in Everbloom Forest have? How should the Everbloom Forest spell impact future game development? Yes, that's even better. It's nice, it's short and sweet and to the point, Zexy. Thank you. It can be really hard sometimes to really make these questions concise because it was very wordy. I think that was super wordy originally, and people end up not voting on polls then because they think, oh, I don't even get what that question means. So, for sure. I'm happy with that. And hi Rex, how are you doing? You've caught us just as we're finishing off for the day. Let's get this up before we end today, shall we? I hope that I'm not going to be too late for my dinner, but I really want to get this poll up, that's for sure, before we finish today. Lore video link here. It will be helpful to watch the lore video above before voting on this poll. How should the Everbloom Forest spell impact future game development? The spell has global impact, allowing us to have as many sentient object characters in the game as we want. Significant limit and nothing outside it is alive. Does that make sense, folks? Is there anything at all missing in that question and the answers that could be really important that we might not have thought of? Feel free to say, because it's the last this poll will be going up. I feel like it all makes sense, but hopefully we've said what we need to. I'm part of me thinking add a little bit extra here, but tell me if you think there's no need, because sometimes I might be getting a bit wordy. Should we have more sentient I feel like that's asking two questions. That's my only problem. The only thing is, this is very heavily focused on, are we going to have more sentient characters or not? That sentient objects as characters or not? That's very much what we're asking here, I think. But at the same time, I don't want to make the question go on too long or have to. I mean, it's all about the spell as well, that's for sure. But the spell itself is sentient object characters. Might have to split option 3 into 2 parts. Oh, right. You think? I'm curious now. I mean, I can totally go on a bit longer. We don't have to finish stream yet. I don't think my dinner's quite ready. So, we might have time. No worries if we... my favourite area so far is Lakefall. Yeah, you like Lakefall. Lakefall's going to be turned into a parallax map. Shortly after we finish the first part, I want to add some flowers around the edges so it blends well into the Everbloom forest. But I think it's a pretty little village, that's for sure. I am not sure how to phrase my thoughts. Yeah, I'm going through the same things, actually. I'm like, oh my gosh, how should we put this? Because if we just had it as that, it doesn't make sense. Having should we have more sentient objects in the game or not doesn't go with what we're trying to say. So, but I feel like that is kind of what we're asking. I like to make an RPG that deals with Greek mythology to a degree, but not focus on the gods too much. You totally should do it. If that's something you want to do, you should. Okay. Get Bride to gear before we get this pollen have to end. Instead of future game development, should we say impact future character? How should the Everbloom Forest spell impact future characters? Future NPCs? Because that's kind of what it's about, more about the characters, the spell effects, the NPCs that we end up having in the game, whether they're sentient or not. And then we don't need to, we can get rid of that bit then. Hi Ghosty, how you doing? It's good to see you. Pikachu. Hope you're doing well, Ghosty. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like the wording of the spell and the sentient object, which it's both for sure. But like for sure so I'm thinking, how should the Everbloom Forest spell impact future? It's just the game development bit I'm thinking of changing now, so it's more focused toward characters rather than the game. But I want it to make sense as well, that's the thing. How should the future character ideas, characters It's a tough one. This is the hardest poll so far in terms of wording, just because it's such an important one, and I want to make sure it makes sense. That's why, and that we don't confuse anyone. Because you said you want it to be a massive never-ending game, so since this is still so early in development, yes. I guess it's like number 3 is about having different themes, different distinct areas that You know, it allows us to be more, have different areas that aren't enchanted. We don't want to, those that pick that option will want us to be limited to just having an enchanted game. You know, some people might think, yeah, let's just give magical stuff and spells a break now and move on to doing other things. But yeah, some might think, well, if it's a long game, that might, you know, that might be limiting us. So we got to be careful here for sure. I mean, I say it's a never-ending game. I mean, it's got to end one day, of course. But it's going to be epic. It's an epic adventure. And it's not going to end anytime soon. Is more how it is. Hang on, what was that extra bit? I don't know if we need it, but let me know if you think it's necessary to have that or not, because I'm not sure. I'm just like wondering now on the wording, mainly for the title. I mean, I like it. It's short and sweet and to the point, and I want to keep it like that. I think it's just the game development bit. I'm wondering if that's if we want to be more specific rather than game development. But maybe we don't need to. Maybe it's fine like that. Story. What about and character development? Is that too much? Yeah, I feel like game might have been too generic, and I wanted to be a bit more specific. I think that was what was the thing with that wording. But this might work. And I think having story relates more to it. The first part of the answers and the character with the sentient object thing. Because it is the reason we put it up in the first place was because of the pigs and the scarecrows. And it's all about the characters really, because that's who the spell brings to life, objects that are sentient. The story I had in mind was something me and mates had worked on long ago. I feel weird talking to her about her and the story, since her family are very controlling and racist and we could never date publicly. Anyway, we had made that a story that has some basis in Greek mythology. Awesome. Well, I think even if like some memories are bad, you can still create good memories, and that just shows because you come up with a good idea. So don't let that put you off. That's what I say. Okay, so I think we're here. I think we're basically there with this question now, and we can get it up. What do you reckon, folks? We did a good job, yeah. But do you guys? Does it make sense to you? You wouldn't get confused knowing what to vote for? is it a poll that's not going to be like one of those polls that you think, oh, I don't know. You know, I want to make sure this poll is making you guys think, yeah, I want that idea, and it makes total sense. Definitely afraid of her older brother. Okay, so I'm going to just go in the Discord. Polls, here we go. Give me a sec, guys. I'm just going to look at how I lay out my polls again, because it's been so long. It's been a while. Okay, so lore video first. Discord looks like it's changed a bit. So YouTube, where have you gone, YouTube? I think I crossed it off actually, but that's fine because we can get the lore video from here instead. It's right here. Now if we put it in, will it just show up? I think it will. There we go. Yeah, I think they've changed things. I don't remember that being there before in big letters. Okay. Can we use big letters in Discord now? That would be so good if we could. Does it allow us to do that? I'm getting my hopes up because we've got some giant text here. If we can do big text now, I'd like literally celebrate. Should we do that in italics actually? But it's probably too much of a dream for us to have big text on Discord. Okay, poll time. So it's been so long I forgot how to do polls, but I think it's /poll, and then you put the question in, speech marks, and then you just do the same for all the answers, and I think that it'll put the letters, it'll label it automatically. I think that's how it is. I'm going to copy and paste just in case it messes up though. I might split option 3 into the spell only affected things in the Everbloom Forest. Any living object found in areas outside must be explained by something other than the spell. The spell only affected Everbloom Forest. It's the only enchanted area in the game and nothing outside it is alive. Okay, that is good as well. Let's just have another look. Let me just reread that a sec. I'm thinking we could still just have the 3 options, but maybe word it in a way so we're not boxing ourselves into one idea too rigidly. So maybe we could just alter the wording so that it doesn't sound like this is, because I think that's why you wanted in 2 ideas, just in case. Because I think it could be cool to keep it open a little bit just in case, because if we ever did want to, at least then we're not limiting ourselves too much for never having anything enchanted in the game ever. So if that wasn't the poll, so maybe we should word it in a way so we're not being a bit too rigid with this one. And then, you know, that would work for either of those. So the spell only affected Everbloom Forest. It's the only must be explained by something other than the spell. So I'm thinking, is it possible to merge them? I just want to keep it more. Because that partner in Outside It Is Alive is definitely telling us, oh my, you can never have anything, an object alive ever again. And we'd have to stick with that decision if that wasn't the poll. And we might want to, and then we couldn't do it. That would be a bit gutting. So, maybe. Right, that's, yeah, so we're kind of on the track there, so it's just about making it less rigid. So if we get rid of that, it's the only enchanted in the game. If I think it was that particular line, nothing outside it is alive, that was the one that was really specific. So if we got rid of that, how would option 3 be then? Does that work fine? Maybe that's enough. But even saying this is the only enchanted in the game might be a little bit rigid as well. Because what if we do want other enchanted areas? I mean, we can have other enchanted areas that don't have sentient objects, but have themes, enchanted themes that do other things. We might want to do that. So just get rid of that one. This spell only affected Everbloom Forest. This allows us to explore other ideas and themes that aren't about sentient objects, characters, that aren't just about. Does that work better? Because we've got rid of the whole, this can be the only area in the game that does this, because that is very rigid, and it might limit our creativity if we ever did want to have more enchanted areas. So getting rid of that, I think, is cool. But at the same time, we're saying that it only affects the Everbloom Forest because we don't want it to be just about having sentient objects like Carol the Barrel. We don't want the game to be full of just sentient objects worldwide. Like, it just allows us to explore other themes. Does that make sense? Hi Wheelo, how you doing? Yeah, Wheelo, I've got a new rule in my stream, and don't worry, it's not your fault at all. I'm totally expecting people to come in and talk about this because it's understandable right now. But any discussion about this, we're going to keep to the shelter of the Discord, the shelter channel, just so we can, you know, we keep the stream productive, and more that I stick to my promise about this being something where we escape from real life, because my website promotes our channel as a place to escape from daily life, and I don't want to break that promise. So, but no worries at all. This is a very new, we only created this rule today, and I'm totally expecting people to come in and say things, but I just want to make it aware that the shelter channel is definitely somewhere to go to chat about this for sure. Yeah. Okay, Wheelo. So I hope you're all good though, Wheelo. I hope things are going good. I know it's one of those times, but other than this, I hope that you're good, Wheelo, because you're awesome. 100%, this feels a lot better to me. I think this, I'm happy with this. Yay. So yeah, that was I agree. It was boxing us in with a rigid outcome, and we've always said with these polls we need to be careful because we don't want to potentially have our game as something where we've got no flexibility. So yeah, this is I think this is a bit more flexible now, and that is awesome. So let's, because even say like if the third option won now, at least if it did win, it's not too rigid. we'll know that people don't want it to all be about sentient object characters, so we'd go with that. But at the same time, if we did want to have that, we wouldn't have to never have it, that kind of thing. We'd still have the choice if we want it to be. We're just not making the game all about that. The world is, yeah, grab a crossbow, yeah, for sure. We're totally, Raindrop Chronicles is a nice fantasy world though, isn't it? It's a happy fantasy world full of barrels that we can romance. Okay, so there we go. Let's just get the pollen. There we go. So I think that is how it is. I'm going to just check for typos. How should the Evergreen Forest play impact future store and character development? Spell's global impact allows us to have as many sentient object characters in the game as we want. The spell has a significant but limited impact, allowing us to have more sentient object characters in the next 1 or 2 areas. The spell only affected Evergreen Forest. This allows us to support other ideas and themes and oh, hang on, sorry, I'm being super fussy here. Don't vote yet. Just literally one thing. The spell allows us to explore other ideas and themes. That just a little tiny typo there. The spell only affected Evergreen Forest. This allows us to explore other areas and themes that aren't just about sentient object characters. So really, to sum it up, the question is really, let's just get rid of the notepad file now because we don't need it anymore. The question really is just about, do you like sentient object characters? Are they something you want to keep seeing in the game regularly? Or is it, nah, let's just have them in the one area? And I mean, don't misunderstand me, Carol and her companions are major characters that are going to be in the game probably throughout. They're lovable characters we're going to see a lot of, but the question is, are we going to see more brand new sentient object characters, I guess, or are we going to just have these guys as our sentient object? Oops, there we go. I accidentally clicked on the video. So yeah, there we go. And this is one that we're going to keep up for a while, this poll, because I think it's not one that people are going to vote instantly on. It's one that will encourage votes on throughout the week. So tomorrow's stream, I'll let everybody know that the poll's here, so everybody knows. But have we got the poll command still? Yeah, we have a poll. Join the Discord to vote. Now that should take you straight to this poll section, folks. So feel free to click that link and have a vote on what you like, but it will definitely be helpful to watch the lore discussion video before voting on the poll, that's for sure. So feel free to watch that. And yay, late stream because of this. There is a typo. Themes and aren't should be themes that aren't. Was that what I changed, Sexy? I didn't even read what you said and now I've read it, but I think that was exactly what I did change, wasn't it? I hope so. I think it was. There's no other typos, is there? There's no others. I hope not. Okay, so someone's voted. Yay. So we'll keep those votes in, obviously. Just because we've got one vote doesn't mean that that's going to be the winner. We're going to keep it open throughout the week. Things could change. We'll see how things go. So I'm going to stop us there. One sec though, folks. I am going to see if anyone's on, but depending on who's on, I'll see if we're going to do a raid or not, but I might have to rush off if I do get called for dinner. We'll see. See you tomorrow. Stay safe, have fun, consume the food, yay. And yes, I'm going to do a bit of stuff off stream, hopefully get some more crops down for you guys to see tomorrow. We'll see what we've got. I'm a hungry one. Okay, we're gonna go to Gretch Star. Just take you guys over to her. She's playing Final Fantasy 5, actually, it seems. So, right. I'm gonna have to rush off, but I'm gonna say hi at least before we go. Thanks for your stream. Have a nice evening. Take care. And some of you might know Gretch, she pops in here now and again. So let's say hi to Gretch, guys. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks so much for hanging out. It's been fun. I'm glad that we got that poll up. And yes, if you haven't seen the video, well, it's there in the Discord by the poll. So I'm sure you'll watch. Take care, folks. Have a good Monday.